Greetings everyone, and welcome to the real game. As you can see, in the meantime I managed to mine some palladium armor and collected various items such as the Terraria boots. And that will come in very useful in this upcoming boss fight versus the giant clam. It's a rematch everyone! So, yes, this boss fight becomes much more difficult in hard mode than it was in pre-hard mode. And that is mainly because Knight actually drops something useful. The mollusk husk, which you can use to create armor. And that's the armor that I'm vying for currently. The main reason being because I saw it and thought it looked cool. Nothing else, honestly. So yes, I do believe you should just see this boss fight, as I do not manage to defeat it in the first try. However, I will manage to defeat it, and this time I actually recorded it. So I hope you all are very proud of me right now. So, as you can see, I got my ass handed to me. And this time I take out one of my good old weapons, the gelatin sword, I think it was called. But yes, I should also mention that I created two new weapons. The blood, I don't know what the actual name is, but all it does is it heals you when you hit stuff. It's basically a Knight's Edge, but in the Calamity mod. It's a new addition, so I thought I would use it. And the Arc, I think it was called. And that weapon is going to come back a lot. So you should definitely remember it. Yes, I do believe now we should go to the time when I actually managed to beat the boss. Which is right here. And as you can see, I made another new weapon. And also got a Rod of Discord. And made another new weapon. Yes, I progressed a lot since the last time. I really did prepare for this. I defeated Cryogen and made this true caustic blade. It may have been just a regular one. The true one is in a little bit later in this episode. Or series rather. However, this weapon is going to be extremely useful for both me and pretty much all of us if you're watching this, because it will make sure that I manage to defeat bosses not in 5 hours, but instead 5 minutes. Which is going to be the Destroyer. A boss that gains a lot of upgrades in the Calamity mod. First of all, when it spawns it is immune. Second, it fires much more lasers and deals a lot more damage with its head. For this boss fight I would recommend the platform high up in the air so he can't get to it, and then you can just kind of blast him down the ground. So don't use a box like I'm using one here. It's not good, because you will get stuck in it and he will kill you eventually. This boss took me about 3 attempts, and even though I would consider it rather difficult, to me the Destroyer has always been the easiest of the mechanical bosses. One other thing to note, however, are the weapons. As you can see, I'm using the Caustic Edge, as I'm pretty sure its name is, and this weapon is the best to use, I would say. It's piercing, it applies a debuff, it's ranged, and melee. It's just phenomenal, truly. I do believe I could continue on to the winning attempt, although I am pretty sure that I did not record that. And therefore, I will have to make a little bit of a backtrack all the way to Cryogen. Now, this boss isn't exactly difficult, however, I wasn't quite easy either. Be aware this is not the first attempt, nor the second. I do believe this is just a refight, so you can actually see the battle, instead of me just telling you that it definitely happened and you should believe me. Now, against this boss, I recommend the usage of a very special potion called the Warmth Potion, because it gets rid of its debuff, and it also gets rid of a lot of its damage. Now, I would like to say that you can use pretty much any weapon against this boss. However, that is definitely not the case. Mainly the Caustic Edge is the one you should go with, or the Euphoric Scimitar, I think is its name. Basically the blue sword. The blue sword stuns the boss, if even for a brief moment, which can be extremely useful if you are looking to beat it. So yes, on your first attempt, consider it a battle of attrition, as this boss will have a lot of health compared to anything else you've faced before. But fight it slowly and use warding on all your accessories, which is my main strategy for all my runs, and you should be able to beat it. But now, back to After the Destroyer. Ha! Get debated, everyone. We are actually not going to After the Destroyer, we are going right to it. Because I did manage to record a winning attempt. You should all be proud of me right now. Please. And yes, this time I do use a much better strategy, which is basically to just go above it and fire things at it. He will die, even if it's kind of slow. As you can see, the box is still there, but I do no longer rely on it. This boss isn't exactly difficult, at least not to me. I would say it's a rather easy one. The weapon that I mainly use is still the Caustic Edge, and that giant ice hammer that I got from Cryogen. I wouldn't recommend that one because it can kill you, and the Caustic Edge can still do very competitive DPS, so there's no need to go for the insane one. Now, outside of that, it does have a phase where it goes kind of immune once again, but it isn't anything too bad. Oh yeah, and the Old Lord Offsword, still here. That guy isn't leaving anytime soon. So yes, I'm going to leave you with the full extent of this winning attempt now. And as you can see, it wasn't even close. Now, we shall continue to the next chapter in this amazing adventure. Skeletron, which is a boss that gets immense upgrades in the Calamity mod, as you can already see. Once it is ahead, it kinda does everything normal Skeletron does, and also shoots lasers and rockets. So, someone went insane style while designing him. However, I do believe he's still rather easy. Now here, I use an arena that I used versus the Eater of Worlds, as well as the Hive Mind. And as you can see, I also got a new weapon. The Earthworm Pike or Spike. I can't exactly remember its name, but it is very strong, especially if you are close range. It sends out small pebbles that do a lot of damage if they actually manage to hit your opponent. I use it particularly when I'm running from his spinning head, because then I can dish out a lot of DPS onto him. But outside of that, the Caustic Edge and the Euphoric, doesn't matter, Scimitar, that I used versus the Cryogen boss will still work on him as well. And here I must apologize. This boss, the Brimstone Elemental, is my 5th favorite boss in the entire mod pack. And yet, I barely managed to record her. This fight was extremely fun. It is just one ginormous platform throughout the entirety of Hell. One that I actually previously made for the Wall of Flesh is the same one I'm using here. And man, this boss fight's music is just phenomenal. I do have to say, however, that the only reason she's here in this episode is because I forgot to record the entire thing. Very sad. However, this is going to be the end for this one, folks. That's all we wrote. And I do hope I will have even more boss fights and content to show you in the next episodes, or the ones to come. Because even though this one was a lot better than the last one, because geez, the last one was terrible, it is still a far cry from what it should be. So yes, I hope to see you on the next one, everybody. See ya!